All right, today I thought we'd try our hand at Indonesian style egg fried rice. First thing we want to do is take a colander, place our rice in it, and wash it really thoroughly with cold tap water. The reason we're doing that is we want to get any of the starch that's on the outside of the grains from when they remove the husks off of there. And I think a colander works a little better than putting it in a bowl. A lot of people like to set everything in a bowl and swish it around. But I think that just rinses the starch right back onto the grains, and you don't get it as clean as you could through a colander. So doing it this way with water running over the top seems to work the best for me. While you're doing this, keep a lookout for little stones, any kind of impurities that might have been in the rice when they harvested it. All right, now that we've got the rice rinsed, let's go ahead and pour it into a bowl, and we'll take it over to the rice cooker and start it cooking. All right, now that the rice is rinsed, let's go ahead and put it in the rice cooker. I find rice cookers make things just a little bit easier for you. You can put this in a bowl and, figure out the ratio of water to the rice, but rice cookers they're foolproof. So just add it to a rice cooker. They're cheap. You can get one on anywhere. Instead of using water today, though, we're going to use homemade chicken stock that I had in the refrigerator. This chicken stock actually has some celery in it, some shallot, things like that. It's going to impart a lot of flavor into the rice as it cooks. All right, now let's just press start and wait for the magic to happen. All right, now through the magic of editing, our rice is already cooked. That took about 35 minutes in the rice cooker, I believe. I don't remember the exact time. But the rice is ready. Now we'll take it out of the rice cooker while it's still hot and get it fluffed right away. What we're going to want to do here is pour it into a bowl. I'm happen to be using a glass bowl, but you could use any kind of bowl. That doesn't really make any difference. Go ahead and pull the rice out and fluff it up really quick. After we get the rice fluffed up, what we're going to do is let it set out on the counter for about 20 minutes or so, and then we're going to lightly cover it with some plastic wrap or tin foil, and then we're going to put it in the refrigerator, and we're going to come back tomorrow and we're going to finish this up. All right, here we are back the next day, and we're going to take care of chopping up all of our vegetables. We're going to input here about 3 spring onions. I'm cutting them on a bias here. It's about 45. You can hardly tell there the way the camera angle is. You can probably tell that I'm not a cameraman. Now we're going to chop up a shallot. We're going to just slice this in thin slices versus dice it up. I want the actual texture of those slices in there, those round rings. You'll see I'm kind of struggling here getting the shallot peeled. I like that the flavor of a shallot is a little more delicate than an onion. Onions to me just don't work right with fried rice. I suppose you could do it, but I don't recommend it. If you can find them in your local market, shallot's the way to go. Okay, here I have 3 cloves of garlic that I'm going to add. You can add more or less to your taste. The easiest way I find to do garlic is to use the side of your knife like I'm doing here and just you put your hand on top of it. Be careful of the blade, of course. And that'll help break that husk loose off or the hull, whatever you want to call it, on the outside of the garlic. Then you just give it a pull, and believe it or not, it'll just pull right out of there. The garlic will be smashed flat and won't try and run away from you while you're chopping it up. Our final veggie that we're going to chop up here is just a red chili. I just wanted a little pop of red color in here. I thought that's going to add a lot to the fried rice. You could just as well use a serrano chili or a green chili of any type, even a jalapeno if you so desire. It's not going to work quite right with a jalapeno. I think that flavor is just a little different than Indonesian fried rice would be. But I think this red chili is probably the best choice. All right, now that all the vegetables are chopped up, let's move on to our eggs. I find that the best way to get the right texture for fried rice is to beat the eggs with the chopsticks. If you use a whisk or things like that, it's going to impart too much air into the eggs and they're going to become fluffy, and that's not the right texture for fried rice. You want that kernels of egg to be in there. I think you call them crumbles. All right, now that all the ingredients are dispatched and ready to go, we're going to prepare our wok. Now, no making fun of my wok. I know it's old and it's been used hundreds of times, but this wok is just, a beat up old wok that I have around that I've had for about 10 years now. The first thing we're going to want to do is you didn't see that part, but we heated the wok up with oil in it first, and we dumped that oil out. And then we put cold oil into it and then heated that up for the shallots. Now we add the shallots and the garlic in right now first. We don't want to let this burn. You want it kind of on a medium-high flame. You don't want it to burn. Looks like my flame went out there for a second. There we go. But we want that to heat back up and just soften these vegetables. Now you're going to want to stop cooking right as soon as the shallots separate and become soft. You don't want to allow that garlic to burn at all. If that garlic burns, it's going to be bitter and you just won't want to eat the rice. It just will not taste right. All right, now that the shallot and the garlic has finished cooking and is soft, we're going to go ahead and add the eggs. I'm just giving them a real quick stir here right before I put it in, uh, just for fun's sake, I guess you'd say. Now we want to continue stirring while they stir. It's just like making scrambled eggs, so to speak, like you would do on the stove. You can see I got a little sticking here, but that's nothing to worry about. It's going to come off the bottom there, and it's actually going to add to the flavor. We call that pan fond. All right, now we're going to add in the cold rice right out of the refrigerator. I don't really measure it. I just go by feel here. I guess there's a term for that. I have no idea what that is, but I just, you can just kind of feel when it's the right amount of rice for the eggs you have. And that makes a difference, whether you have large eggs, medium eggs, or small eggs, whichever one you happen to buy at the market, you're going to kind of want to go with the rice. Now here what you see I'm doing is I'm putting in some oil, some sesame oil, and just kind of, it was getting a little dry there, so I had to add a little sesame oil around it. One thing you never want to do for fried rice is add olive oil. That fruity flavor of the olive oil tastes good in a lot of applications, but not fried rice. I tried, trust me. It's a bad idea. Now you're seeing my practice of my pan flip here. This is the first time I've ever done that. Okay, maybe it's not the first time. All right. Now we're going to add the soy sauce. Now the soy sauce, it's important to pour the soy sauce around the wok as you put it in. You want that soy sauce to hit that hot wok and kind of boil off the bitterness. There's some bitter notes in raw soy sauce. So you're actually cooking it right before it hits the rice. Then stir it in. And I find the best way to do that is just to do the pan flip. Pan flip is nothing more than throwing the pan forward and then pulling it directly back at you. Don't try and throw it straight up in the air or you'll have rice all over the floor. All right, now this is the Indonesian part. What I just poured in there is called sambal olik. It's basically crushed pepper, and now I'm pouring in the rest of the oil that I had left over there, the sesame oil. Now we just want to make sure that stirs in really good, especially with that sambal olik. You don't want any, large quantities in one place on that, or somebody's going to have a mouth on fire. And that's a no bueno for anything. All right, never mind the red shorts there. Keep your eyes on the walk. Okay, here's what I call my make something good ingredient. I know a lot of people are going to say, oh no, you can't add that, but I did it. And, Asians have been doing it for years, and I don't see anything wrong with it, and it's never been proven that it actually hurts you in any way. Monosodium glutamate is nothing more than a single sodium molecule mixed with glutamate, which is a form of sugar. So basically, it's going to give you that umami taste. You want to kind of watch how much you add in there. I probably added about a teaspoon for the entire thing. Now we just added the red chili in there and the green onions or scallions, which depends on what part of the country you're from. Now we're going to mix this up. I'm doing it the old-fashioned way with the spoon and all, but now we're going to do the flip. We're going to try it here. Looks like I need a little work on my flip, guys. But that's why we're all here. This is called noob cooking for a reason. We're all learning together. All right, I think it's ready to plate up. Believe it or not, we are ready. I had quite a bit of fun actually making this one. This is one of the more fun dishes. I think using the wok is something that everybody should try. You don't want to try and use it on an electric stove, obviously, because it has a round bottom, and there would be no way for, like an induction stove or a glass top stove to actually heat the pan up properly. And you would probably destroy your stove in the long run too. Or in the process, I should say, not the long run. All right, there we have it. One plate of fried rice, fit for a king, made by you for you. Let's give this a little taste test and make sure it meets up. Oh yeah, I think that's the thing right there. That's the stuff. I had to go back for seconds, you notice. Couldn't stop. Must be that MSG. All right, well, if you like this, please like and subscribe.